Right, Mitoe, Minimoult, game one. Let's do it. TakkCafe Cup, semi-final. Here's a classic, is it? The Mitoe finger spam for training the villager. If he's not going to train the villager the first time, he might train it the second time. He's just going rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat with those commands from the town centre. But I suppose he wants to get that Vil in queue. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TakkCafe semi-final number one. We have in Mitoe spawning into the south of the map, Mexico, playing as the Dutch in the colour teal, and his opponent, Minimoult, spawning in the north of the map in the colour red, playing as the Portuguese civilization. Both explorers wandering their way over to the left-hand side of the map. Looks like Portugal going to throw down the early trading post here. If Minimoult knows his map, there's potential for this trading post to be the fastest trading post to throw down and get that early experience points. But I think this might be the safest one, depending on which orientation the bend in the trading route goes. But Mitoe, I think Mitoe himself wants a trading post. He's come up this way with Explorer, but he's also found a native scout and brought his envoy to put on the pain onto Minimoult's Explorer. Mini saying, not cool, man, not cool. And this is what we call layman in the industry. And Minimoult basically has to stand near his trading post or try and get home, because otherwise he's just going to die. No way that Explorer lives this or defeats all three of them together. So I think Minimoult's trying to find a treasure to basically aggro at this point. So they get the treasure gardens to kill him so that Mother Nature gets the experience points. But at the moment, he's not going to find anything. And if anything, he's just running away from his own trading post, which is going to be the sole thing which revives this Explorer. So he's just going to try and find something, maybe a little bit of extra scouting. You can check his fog of war. He scouted the trading post and the native from the line of sight. He's just going to try and walk through the middle, drawing a very funny picture into the mini-map and trying to find some natives to kill the Explorer. But the only native he's found is Mitoe's converted native scout. Even going for the spyglass, just trying to find any treasure guardian to annoy to get the kill. But it looks like Mitoe will get the kill there and pick up 45 experience points, which is very, very nice opening. Mitoe's next to a trading post. Let's see what he's going to do that opening wood. Well, he was chopping quite a lot of wood, but has reverted to a house and a market. He's left 20 coin in base. He's left 55 coin in base from a Jaguar, but he's going to come back and get it. But it's no use getting this treasure now, Mitoe. That coin's not helping your age up. And I think Mitoe might have a bit of idle time here once that 15 Vil comes out. I'm just looking at his resources and, I know a thing or two about Dutch eco, and I don't see Mitoe getting the idlest age up here. And that first banking transition is going to be very, very slow. Looks like that Nightbot command's a bit old there, but it's just going to be me tonight unless somebody else surprises me. Oh, did I just see Mitoe sell a bit of? Oh, he's got the 20 coin at the back of the base. So he got the 55, 20, and had a bit of over chopping on the mine. Mitoe's going for a 16 Vil age depth with Gangsaw versus Portugal, who is going to get the villager down with the advanced train post, sending another villager out, possibly to revive the Explorer first, get the train post down. Explorer going to build a fourth one. I'm an advocate of fast 14 Vil age up with Dutch, and you get the tempo with the shipments, but 16 villagers, your hands in the entire map to Minimoult. I'm struggling. I'm not enjoying this opening position for Mitoe, but I will love to be proven completely wrong by one of the strongest players in the games. And I'm actually very interested to see how. Will Mitoe get tempo from this? Will Minimoult get the entire map? Mini, in the meantime, he's aging up. 11 villagers. He did go for a house in base, but didn't go for the 10-10. Worth to note, this is on the previous patch, or the patch dated around about early May. So the Portuguese still have their 300 food and 200 wood crate opening, and doesn't have that minus 50 food nerf, but the town centre wagon, the covered wagon, moving down to the middle of the map to try and get map control. Mitoe is trying to go for a trading post, it looks like. Is he going to go for a trading post? Well, he needs to go for the bank, and maybe the age up with the quartermaster could give him the wood to get the trading post. So he's going to throw down the trading post now and get the wood on the age up, but it's 4 minutes 10. There's still no bank in the base. With the double in-base coin treasure, could have aged 14 vil and got the bank down, the foundations, 1 minute earlier. 320. It's possible. It's the new hype. Got to go with it. Especially when you have 2 in-base coin treasures. And Mitoe is trying to go for trading posts here to try and deny, which I appreciate. But with the 14 vil, you'd all be up by now. You would already have that wood from the quartermaster. You already would be building that trading post. So aging up to the colonial age, 4 minutes 35, wood on the floor. First bank coming down. May needed to have sold a little bit of food in the market there just to get that first villager in queue and have not a lot of idle time. But there's not really much chance of a second bank coming down on the 400 wood here. 60 food on the coyote treasure would help. There probably isn't enough wood here anyway because he spent quite a bit of that wood onto the trading post. He did get gang source, so that did help him in the transition. But we got bank, 700 wood, bank wagon behind this, and just taking time for those shipments to push through. Meanwhile, Minimoult, aging up faster, now sending in 700 wood as his second card, I believe. Yeah, ATP was card number 1. Or did he actually send the House of House of Branca? Interesting word. And it looks like he has. Is he going to go for the train for the locomotive upgrade? Let's see. Coin coming in. It is a free upgrade here for Minimoult, and he may want to try and confirm that the train post is under his own control first before he commits to it. But it might be a possibility. Yeah, he has sent it. I'm just tripping over myself. Mitoe, though, making good use of Explorer, not giving Minimoult an extra inch, trying to make the most of everything he has at the moment. That's interesting. So he's only getting the hunting dogs now. So had thrown down the market in age 1 just because of the spare wood, but chose to not go for the hunting dogs. And that might be why his age up time wasn't as idle as I feared it would be, but did still have to go for the 16 vil age up there to try and not have that idle time. He's got a bit of coin from the trading post. He might have got 1 pass from the trading route. The pikeman, there's enough pikemen here to ensure that that trading post has been taken down. So the 700 wood has come in and has gone for the bank barracks. I suppose he didn't need to throw down the markets or get the text. He did research that. The bank wagon's for the 4th bank here. And he's going to be basically playing standard Dutch, but a minute behind where they would be all. Probably about 40 seconds. Nothing too significant. Meanwhile, Minimoult, that second town centre has been pumping units for villagers for quite a long time. Here comes the Iron Horse upgrade, which is going to upgrade the trade routes to level 3 locomotive line. Opening with Musketeer and Hussars. A couple pikemen are still around just chasing the envoy, but these siege troopers have done their job of securing the entire train line for himself, and the Musketeer Hussar play is going to try and put pressure on the Dutch player. Dutch do struggle versus Musketeer Hussar combinations in the second age. Okay, so Minimoult pushing his pike forwards, baiting in the skirmishers from Mitoe. Mitoe has taken the bait. Minimoult with the master. He's a master of this art of baiting the opponent forwards. Here's the Hussars coming around for a flank. The skirmishers know what's up. They're underneath the advanced trading post, taking damage there. But the 5 Hussars here to clean up the skirmishers. A really nice trade, trading off units doesn't need them. They're pretty useless at this point in the game for a massive pickup on the skirmishers. Minimoult playing this game very well. To kick us off into this best of 7. Now, Mitoe sends in 700 coin behind this because just the momentum he got from that slower age up has just not propelled him to have enough resources to age on the 5 skirms. Queued up a second batch of skirmishers, second racks coming down, calling CM, pikemen on the way. But the Hussars can go in and out at this point. They don't have to stay. Here come the Hussars, and I think he's going to pull Hussars topside and to the south and escape pretty quickly. Again, that's gone quite well there for Minimoult. We'll lose about a Hussar, maybe 2 Hussars worth of HP. But this is a 600 wood shipment being spent into barracks and a couple of houses. Here come 8 pikes, because that coin shipment was cancelled. And I would like him to go for the 700 wood as his next, 700 foods as his next card to help him age up. But Mitoe is awkwardly stuck in the second age, having skirmishers versus Hussars, pikemen to deal with advanced training posts, which have a a range attack, and a couple of musketeers from Minimoult, and should be able to defend the entire line. Mini with the cavalry presence, the raiding presence is here, the mobility presence is here. Mini's going back in because he knows that the infantry line is likely to be moving forwards, and if it's not moving forward, it's defending versus the hussars, but that means the trading line is still working for Mini, so it's a win-win for him wherever that army goes, and he's making most of this and going for a raid in the back, but the hussars are standing still. What's going on? DE Paraffin blocking. Look at this, blocking the choke, so that one Vil is dead. This Vil is going to get killed first, and this Vil here will have to walk the long way around. Manages to actually get through, but that 2 Vils is going down, and the infantry from Minimoult is just sitting at the back. Don't want to be too aggressive, but 2 Vils going down there, maybe a third. Mitoe trying to punch down a couple of HP worth from the Hussar. Micro and his villagers there got a good trade. No greatcoats just in for Mitoe, but he's researching it right now. Another batch of pikemen in queue. He thinks he's training skirmishes. He's queued up a big batch of skirmishes, but may have wanted to buy a little bit of wood there to get a big batch of pikes out, because the problem with the trading line is it's still there. Currently, Mitoe's army involves... why does it not let me choose all the
Commando? Yeah. Commando.
My hotkeys are not working. What is going on? Sorry. My select all hotkeys not working, and well, neither is any of the other hotkeys. Oh dear. Whoops. I'm going to need to sort that out. I think the hotkeys I've saved somewhere, but that's, yeah, this update messed up all my hotkeys. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I was trying to press the select all hotkeys so I can tell you guys how many skirmishes Mitoe has on the field, but I don't know what the default hotkey is, and I don't really want to change my hotkeys because I want to try and recover them if possible, but I did copy and paste them to another account, so maybe I can copy and paste them back. That is the hope. So I won't try and do anything too reckless. But all you need to know is there's 8 skirmishes here, 9 pikemans. Bit of a cav raid in base. Mitoe still staying age 2, wants to play as age 2 at the moment. Mini into the 3rd age, Minutemen being called from the town centre. Here come the hussars to try and engage, but there's enough pikemen. The pikemen just run through the hussars. Musketeers focusing down the pikemen. So the Minutemen, town centre fire not present, no villagers inside. And actually, there's not a lot of units here for Minimoult. Mitoe is keeping age 2 and putting that pressure right onto Mini. Another big batch of hussars. The Iron Horse is on the woods, but there's got no coin in reserves to train any units. The Town Centres are currently idle here for Minimoult. He's focusing entirely on his combat. Good choice. Reinforcing hussars. All the pikemen have gone down. A couple of colonial hussars getting picked off by the Minutemen. These guys have done so much damage in the background. It was very, very worthwhile, and at the moment... skirmishers with no anti-cavalry protection are being torn apart by a couple of these colonial hussars from Minimoult. Here come the Cassadors, veteran units, will do very well versus Mitoe's colonial skirmishers, and a couple of dragoons, but to back this up from Minimoult should be enough to give him a strong military position. Looks like he's going for the 2 organ guns to help siege down the trading post and also contest this skirmisher mass from Mitoe. Mitoe's gone through his initial coin in base with thanks to the Dutch gathering bonus on the coin mine. 0.78 coin per second. Very, very strong there. That is base gathering plus the 20 for the Dutch bonus, and then with placer mines on top as well. So very efficient coin gatherers here. The skirmishers, though, are not doing the greatest versus these veteran Cassadors. 45% range resist and a little bit more attack as well. It's closer than I thought it would be. I know that the veteran skirmishers beat veteran Cassadors in combat, but actually colonial skirmishers versus veteran Cassadors is actually closer than you'd have hoped. But here comes the Hussar switch. He's hopefully got enough Hussars to hold us back, but this is where the Dragoon play would have helped. Where are those organ guns? I swear I saw organ guns coming in, or did he cancel a shipment? Okay, he cancelled the 2 organ gun shipment into more Cassadors. Just imagine if he had a couple of Dragoons here, might have picked off the 1 or 2 Hussars, and the Hussars would have gone in on top of the skirmishers. But trying to keep the Hussar mass away with the stronger Cassador Mass he's got here, trying to... So if the Hussars do close in, these 18 castles can shoot down a Hussar to lose about half HP, and then that makes the presence of the cavalry weaker. Did you see how that Hussar lost 220 HP there? That was a significant amount of damage and tankability that the Hussars provide. Mitoe, double batch of pikes, 10 pikemen out on the field here. He's going to go in at the moment. He needs to go in and commit to make the most of these pikemen. Hussars actually on the castle line. These guys very low HP. Getting some good trades here. The Mitoe Hussars, 4 hit kills on the castles, and the pikemen now on top of the veteran Hussars. And there's no real kind of ranged dragoons here to try and deal these units from range. The Hussars have to go into hand combat, and they do tank up a little bit of that pike damage as well. But the veteran Hussar technology from Minimoult, superior units here from the Portuguese player, pushing the Dutch player back. Mitoe's Explorer still in hand combat, trying to get that snare. But a couple of Hussars moving forward. Only 2 pikes trying to defend this won't be enough. If Mini brings these Hussars forward, it might be in the bad news here. But another big batch of Hussars here from Mitoe. Maybe enough just to keep a lot of these units alive. But the Castles, these are strong units. They can actually deal with the Hussars quite decently. And yeah, this Cav war on its own is pretty even trade. But the Castles in the back line providing support in fire. Mini should be able to get a good trade here. But the reinforcements from Mitoe... He's stuck in this age. He can age up on the 700 food, which he might do now, but another big batch of pikemen. If he was in the next stage, these could be halberdiers, and they're so much stronger than just regular pikemen. Minimoult's just having a good time, but that trading post has been paid off 3 times over now by Mitoe. He's got so much resources from this Iron Horse play, and actually getting that presence on the trading line has basically kept Mitoe in this game, I'd say. Just the 4 banks in the base. Is a 5th bank on the side? No. But I don't think a 5th bank here would be the correct play for Mitoe. It's probably a little bit too greedy. And I still feel that the technology advantage available by going up to the next stage, especially when you're starting to mass Hussars for potential veteran tech, will be worth it. But Mitoe resting his hopes on the Zuta more stuff principle, now sending team infantry HP. He's already sent infantry attack as well, so pikemen 9 attack, skirmishers with a 17 range. Here come the Mamluks though. Mamluks from Minimoult, but mass cavalry from Mitoe. This is the perfect answer. Mamluks tank a lot of damage, don't do a lot of damage, and in the meantime the Hussars can do a lot of damage on the castle. Still waiting for the Dragoon support. Here come 4 Dragoons here from Minimoult, sending Dragoons from the other town centre, but he's not near the town centre. Minutemen could come from the western town centre, but the Hussars are going to go straight onto the castle doors. Dragoons need to kite, and there's so much stuff here from Mitoe. The Mameluke shipment here from Minimoult is perfect versus Skirmgoon, but versus Huss and Pike it's just a little bit awkward, but they still stand strong. Minimoult still has all his 4 Mamelukes still tanking a lot. This Mameluke down to 200 HP, already lost 1,000. But you just see how his couple of Hussars or Mamelukes just annoying the entire ranks of Mitoe's army, but kiting away with the Castadors. More Dragoons have been trained at this point, but double-kited skirmishers probably now stronger than Mini's Portuguese Castadors. The Mamelukes have been taken care of basically cost-efficiently because of the Hussar trades. Only a couple Dragoons stay alive. He's trying to keep these Mamluks alive, but they're now at HP level where they're just basically Hussar units. I'm hoping that Minimoult's eco behind us is pretty strong. He's been training lots of villagers, and there's 30 villagers on his double hunt to the top. Looks like he does have steel traps or 1.13. That's going to be... is that hunting dogs plus Portuguese bonus? It might be just steel traps plus Portuguese bonus as well. Whichever number it is, it's a very strong number there. I think it is going to be steel traps plus Portuguese bonus. But big raid here, 5 Hussars on top of these villagers. Some villagers going north, some villagers going south. Mini's army is away from the action, but he notices that the Dutch villagers from Mitoe are a bit exposed at the moment. Top side, about 5 already gone down, looking to be maybe 6 or 7, probably 8 in total, but the counter raid here from Minimoult is in, pushing forward with his infantry. Where is that infantry? Castador's near the trade line. No vision from the Iron Horse from Mitoe's point of view, because he does not have access to that trade line at the moment, but that army is wrapping down to the south. Coin miners near the town centre, and they need to get in, protect himself. Mini does have a lot of resources though. Maybe a double batch of Hussars here, get another house down, and can get a full batch of 5. Cutting villager production at this point. Maybe he wants to push on to the right hand side of the map where there's lots of hunts. Yep, villagers moving down to the south, and a lot of villagers 20 villagers here on this double. Well, it's just a single hunt, actually. There's not a lot of food remaining on the map, but Dragoon Combat is the card from Minimoult, buffing both the Dragoons and the Hussars. And I think you can see how this Hussar Skirmisher army from Mitoe is nice, but we'll just get countered by Skirmisher Hussar from Minimoult behind this. Ignore the Castador Wars. These units aren't that great. And here come the Hussars. More reinforcement Hussars. Minutemen from the top as well in case Mitoe wants to run the opposite direction. Here come an army of pikes, but realistically, he needed Reuters at this point. Is he sending 9 Reuters? He's sending skirmishers. And the entire army from Mitoe is being cleaned at the moment by the Hussars and remnant Mameluke units from that 4-man shipment. Militiamen are just here for the show as well. But Mitoe's army just got cleaned there. And Mitoe's got 36 vills plus 4 banks at the moment. He's got his 5th bank, but no access to the Iron Horse line. Meanwhile, Minimoult, 55 villagers, Iron Horse, 4 TPs, with potential to train, lots more villagers with the 3 town centres. He's not doing so just yet. Okay, he's restarting the production, but Dragoon Combat on the Hussars and the Dragoons here, very strong. Won him the fight there, quite convincingly. And Mitoe is having to transition to carded halberdiers, and these guys are also quite tanky. Yeah, double carded. No infantry combat, but still a solid plus 10% HP and plus 15. Yeah, it is just the infantry combat on these units. Villagers trying to take refuge in the Zapotec settlement. They're asking, can we stay here the night, please? But they pushed them away, saying, no, you cannot. Straight back into the cavalry. Big raid down to the south, and yeah, raids everywhere, but the Hussars push on to all these villagers here. They do have their greatcoats, I did see that, but the halberdiers, they can't re-engage because there's enough Castadors and militiamen. You can see how the skirmishers are trying to win the skirm war before the halberdiers can move in and successfully defend. But Mitoe, taking off that first batch of cavalry, Mini knows where to go next with his other cavalry units. He's going to push that right side, raiding on top and the bottom. This infantry army is quite immobile, can only be one place at one time. Dragoons moving to the top side to deal with the Hussars as well, keeping these other Hussars alive from Minimoult. And I'm expecting Minimoult just to turn back around and go back in. He's got the pressure, he's got the mobility, picking up the Hussars. Mitoe, he hasn't got much food under his control realistically, and he needs all that food to get Hussar mass out, or if anything, Reuters could help. But I think Mitoe's thinking, okay, double-carded Skirm Halb. I'm in a situation. There's an Orkan gun. Where's this Orkan gun come from? Is it just the one? Okay, there's a second Orkan gun next to a villager. That might be a bit of an easy military drag hiccup there. And that was from the shipments not being trained. Mini's army just waiting in the flank, just waiting to push in. This is looking to be a little bit of an awkward position for Mitoe, but I think Mitoe realises he's in the last chance saloon. He's got to do something, otherwise he's going to lose the economic war versus the Portuguese, because the Portuguese outscale as the game goes on. Right, Orkan guns unpacking, going to do very well versus the infantry. These units, they are the same stats as the Gatling gun, a little bit stronger, but do not underestimate these guys. Very strong versus infantry units, not that great versus artillery. Hussars, though, with the card, I just got to tank this halberdier and the infantry line with the Orkan gun supporting. A lot of group in there. Yeah, and just the infantry just falling down. There's so much supporting fire to pick off this infantry line to protect the skirmishers. Meanwhile, Hussars, they're thinking, do I go for the villagers? But actually can sandwich the retreat here from the skirmishers. This army's going to get cleaned up again for the second time. I don't believe Mitoe has a way back into this one. And just looking at all these skirmishers going down, a valiant effort. But the game's been called. GG. Mitoe, he's up 1-0. No, Minimoult. No, that's the wrong number. Go the other way. Go the other way. Yes. My program works. I just had it underneath, so I couldn't see actually what was the things. But yeah, Lucas saying it's the Portuguese, but I don't know. I think Mitoe lost the game pretty early on there. He did very. What I was surprised. He did very well with that late colonial push. I have to give it to him. That was a really smart decision, pushing out with pikemen, Hussars, and got some good batches out and really put the pressure on the Mini. There's a bit of time where Minimoult was shaking early Fortress Age, and Mitoe realised that's when Portuguese was at their weakest. But a 16 villager age up with double coin treasures in base, I just felt really, really awkward. I know the plan for Mitoe was to capture this trading post and then to try and probably age up 15 vil standard with the trading post to annoy Mini, but I think in this matchup and versus other TP matchups, if you age up fast with the 14 vills, I think you can get the wood from the age up, crates gathered, and then you can throw that train post down on the 400 woods for the same effect, but then a smoother build. Your shipment's coming in a whole minute earlier because of the 2 vills you're saving. I generally think that's probably the way to play versus this. And Mini himself, he didn't go for that 10-10 Portuguese age up. He went for 11 villagers. There was that house in age 1, so a little bit slow from himself. And as the games into the next patch will progress with that 50 food nerf the Portuguese have, I think that could be a different way to approach the game as the Dutch versus a Portuguese ATP play. I wish I could see like the resources being bought and sold at the market from Mitoe. A little bit of buying and selling going on there. Age up to the Fortress Age about 4 minutes 30 or 4 minutes 30, I think is the time. Villager population, yeah, pretty good villager population. Towards the end, Minimoult wasn't trained to be more villagers, but that was because the hunts on the map were running low, had the economic advantage, and wanted to invest all his efforts into the military. So, good decisions there. Military populations, really good trades actually. Mitoe stuck in as long as he could, but Minimoult, once that cavalry combat came in, and actually caught Mitoe out on the age up, to be fair. So yeah, just another timing situation. But Mitoe did go out across the map and picked off a lot of those villagers, and that was basically the catalyst which forced the the reaction from Minimoult to go back onto Mitoe's own villagers, and hence his massive villager drop. Just so many units just going down, and then all the fighting just broke loose afterwards. But Mini's stronger economy could reproduce those units. Right, really enjoyed that one. What a great game to kick us off. We'll go into game number 2. Of course, this series is very proudly sponsored by the TakkCafe, sponsoring this event, the entire event as well. Probably need to... I can turn off, can I? Yeah, let's turn that off now. Right, guys, check out the website TakkCafe. Just go !tack. See the Nightbot there. Follow the link. All the description of the products they offer is on the website. Go show them some love and let them know in the chat how just to show your appreciation that we have a company wanting to invest into Age of Empires free competitive gameplay. So massive thank you to our sponsor TakkCafe, who offer products and services for small coffee business owners to basically improve their proposition to the customers that they serve. All right, game 2, let's do it. Minimoult is saying GG, Mitoe not... he might have said the GG, we can't tell, but he does say out. And Mini's just going to say the simple yes afterwards. I think that might have been a little bit of a moral victory there for Mini. That game went really, really well. But that game's behind us now. We're into the second game. Mitoe playing as the Chinese civilization spawning into the northeast of the map Malaysia. This is a yak map. We have a couple... It's not yaks, it's water buffaloes, pardon me. These water buffaloes are the equivalent of the European cow. Or the American cow. I suppose it is American because that's where the cows on the maps are. Those maps are American themselves. Oh, I'm getting lost in thoughts. Silly me. Anyway, Wang Lang punching down a couple of tigers, as you do. We'll pick himself up 80 wood. And I'll talk about what Mitoe may be doing in his build. But I'll come back to that. Minimoult spawning into the southwest of the map in the colour dark blue, playing as the Incan civilization. He's gone to the east of the map with his explorer, trying to pick up a couple of these water buffaloes. The water buffaloes, their spawning pattern is like an oval shape around the trading route. So about 5 at the top here. And you come down and then you spawn around the trading routes here. So that's where the action is going on. And that's why you see a disciple from Mitoe has gone down to the south near the trading route. And the explorer has gone to the north, trying to maximize the amount of water buffaloes he can pick up. And, you know, both players enjoy livestock, but the Chinese, with their villages, acting as a pseudo-livestock pen, can fatten these water buffaloes. So it's very imperative for the Chinese player to pick up as many of these yaks as possible. But I want to see what Mitoe's Age 1 build is. I think a lot of people have been trying to find out magic going on behind. And what do I see? 2 villages going down. Wood available for a third. Are we going to see a third village? I think we will. Northern Refugees has been called. He needs to get on with it and build it quickly. He's going to build it now. I think Mitoe knows the timing, but... Stop scrolling. If I was going to point towards the icon, that Northern Refugees was about 25% sent. But I think he's got enough time to complete the villages. And that shipment is now going to be a 4 villager shipment in Age 1. One villager from the town centre, and 1 from each of the villages. So that's 4 in total. But will this slow down the Chinese player? Well, you may think so, but actually that extra 4th villager, you can cut one of those villagers in Age 1. And what that means is then you can save the food, on what you would have spent on that villager to age up faster. So we've got these 4 villagers, 1 extra now, gathering all this extra food. Could eat one of these water buffaloes to help speed the age up, I suppose. But we might see Mitoe cut production a little bit early and still age up with 18 villagers. This allows Mitoe to have a lot of population to spam those unit shipments from. Would he go 700 wood first? 1v1 warship test. He's got a full rack of cards in Age 2. And you don't often see that from China players if they had the intentions of going to the Fortress Age and playing the more traditional standard way. The entire Incan eco is just still chilled out in the base. Having a look at the Incan deck, no American Allies card. Has a water deck. This is a water map. Schooners has been sent as a card number 1. Also has water ceremony, fish market, and this card called the Team Inca Bridges. Team infantry and civilians move faster, 5% there. And he's got the infantry 10% as well. So a lot of interesting cards. Anything interesting so much? Just Inca versus Disciple. That Disciple likely to go down. Oh my god, that's a long-range swipe. That Incan Explorer putting in work there, and that Disciple being cut down vigorously. I'll have a quick look at some of these Incan cards. You don't often see them in decks. So we got the Poison. This is the Warship Combat. 25% on these Chincha Rafts are very strong. Town Centre and Builder Travois, so likely to be War Hut. This will be a great card to secure a coast. Let's say if Inca wants to try and get onto the north coast, a Town Centre and a War Hut would certainly secure it very well. 2 Chincha Rafts, the Villager and Fishing Boats, Food Eco card, as Wales as well. We've got the Chincha House and 3 Privateers for 500 coin. Again, that's a strong shipment, that is. That's like a specialist Native American shipment to help them get onto the water. Ero have it, the Lakota have it, Aztec have it, Inca have it as well. You don't often see them because they have Chincha Rafts, so very strong naval units in the Second Age, which the other Native American civilizations don't have. So basically having 2 shipments in the Second Age while going water. I think Minimoult will be fighting for both the south coast and the north coast. Cheeky villager sneaking his way to the top side of the map. Will we see a dock come down? I think we will. First card, you would imagine, will be the wood crates from Inca, just to get the dock down and get that fish boom just rolling. But let's see if anything in particular. Yeah, it's just going to be the wood crates. Consulate coming down from Mitoe. You don't drop a consulate this early if you're going for a fast fortress. But he's going for the German allies. Chang Pikeman. Bug though with the German consulates, the capitalism card has not been updated yet to the new patch values. I think that's to be done or still not to be done. So this is old capitalism from the German consulates. Maybe the Germans haven't caught up on capitalism from the Americas yet. But all from China. I'm getting confused because we've got the China with the European consulate. All I know is it's not the right value. But I don't think capitalism is available until the Third Age. Or second. I think it's the Third Age. So I think we're all safe here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's got German consulates to get cheaper batches of units. He may send export behind us. Well, he doesn't have export in decks. He's just going for the cheaper batches of units. And I suppose that it makes much more sense than army HP when your units have so low HP anyway. And at the moment, your army is so small. 9 Chang pikemen from the shipments. We have the 3 Chang pikemen from the old hand batch. 7 step riders is coming from behind this. Mitoe scouting out the dock, does see this dock, and I'm expecting those step riders to go and run straight away to the northern position to tear down that dock. The pikemen are a little bit away from that position, so they're just going to stay going to the south and see what they can find. Double defensive war hut in Minimoult's base, but also somewhat protecting the water. It's a bit of half and half. It's not really protecting either, but should be enough. Will Mitoe try and siege a part of this down before it gets completed? He's going to try and go for it, but he does get completed. And actually, the step riders are going all in here onto the double war hut instead of trying to deal with that northern dock. And maybe the dock here could have been an easier target for Mitoe to deal with. And once that dock's gone, the northern sea is his. You gotta remember though, Mini is playing as a Native American civilization. They don't have access to the classic Minutemen that the Europeans do. And that means they don't have units which can very quickly deal with the Step Riders. These are siege units, siege troopers, so they do take extra damage from the Minutemen. But double defensive war huts have already gone down. Mitoe's still got many units out in the field. And for an Inca war boom, I don't know, it's not really enough fishing boats here to really keep that eco going, but more importantly, he's got no war hut to produce units. These units from Mitoe are just going to run around, and another war hut's going to be trying to be thrown up in the background. But Mitoe's straight on it. He's going to get on top of this foundation. That war hut's going down, and with all of these pikemen here from Mitoe, 10 pikemen and however many step riders here, probably about 6 now. Yeah, I've seen 6 step riders. That should be enough to take down the town centre as well. No war hut, no villagers gathering. They're all in the town centre. He's got a couple of villagers out to the side gathering somewhere. Oh, no, these are just the fishing boats, pardon me. Yeah, the entire Incan villager eco is in the town centre at the moment. No real response coming behind this. Has enough food to call for the big button, but these are just the pikemen. And there are enough Chew canoes to deal with this. I see the town centre focusing down the Chew canoes, but it's going to turn and fire. And it's going to pick off one pikeman after another pretty quickly in quick succession. Going to try and bait the army towards the Chincharaffs. That is the smart play. He does get a triple kill. All these Chincharaffs are just murdering all these pikemen so quickly. That is brutal. These pikemen they're suddenly not dying quietly as well. This one's, is it punching the air? This one's trying to run away. Bless them, but the recording game's been called. Mitoe with the H2 China play. Skipping 700 wood, just going straight for the unit shipment one after the other. Looking quite strong, that is. 3 unit combination really early on. Minimoult's tapping out. The score is 1-1. Because behind this, Mitoe can just eat the water buffalo, send 700 coin. So I think it was it sending 2 war junks possibly on the way. Might not have actually hit the field just yet, but could have been an option for him. There's always a temptation to send HU canoes to follow this up, but could just go 700 coin and just go into the next stage, and he's severely disrupted his opponent. And that's where the real strength for these early 3 villages from China come from. Not having to chop all that extra wood to go for the extra housing as you're spamming those units. The population's there, ready to go. Just like with house booms with Japan, Sweden, and the British, you had the population just to spam units, and Mitoe spent those resources as fast as they came in. Cheaper unit batches from the German consulate, single war huts, summer pass on Old Han as well, and just units being spammed. And the eco behind is actually pretty decent. 29 villagers, 4 villages worth of production from the Summer Palace, and yaks ready to be eaten as well. Right, let's move on to the next game. It's Veronica saying, I want to join the semi-FF gang. Gang something. the Semi-FF clan chat is back in the chat as always. Let's see how much fun stuff you guys can kick up in the chat. Right, game 3 on Florida. Mitoe moving explorer to northern position early on. What treasure does he find? Is it 100 XP or 80 food? Oh, it's 90 coin. That's quite a nice treasure for him to find early on. With a little bit of extra coin in base, that could be worth 100 food if he buys from the market. Could be an early hunting dogs as well for Mitoe, but looks like he's just chopping for the early trading post. And yes, he's gone for the back trading post here, so that should be enough to get that trading post up. And before that trade travois comes, and depending on the map and map spawn, you might just get that first crucial pass of XP from the trading post to get you that first shipment. This first pass of XP is great, but it doesn't actually give you your shipment there and then. You see you've got 134 XP still needing to come. So actually going for this defensive back trading post is not a big deal here for Mitoe. I think he's played just very early age 1 here very, very well. He's actually spent that coin already. Maybe mind a... Well, where's that coin gone? He hasn't mined any coin, but he's lost it. Oh, because he never picked up the treasure. He's killed the alligator, but he's never picked it up because he just wanted to get on the trading post. Ah, fair play. So here comes the villager picking up the in-base 40 coin. The explorer's going to go to the top side, pick up another 90 coin. And his explorer's recharge will be available later on. 80 food nearby. Apart from that, though, treasures on Mitoe's side looking a little bit tough. 100 coin down to the southern middle, and there's the 80 wood on the top side. His opponents, Minimoult, playing also as the British, spawning as the red in the southwestern map. Gone for a single manor house and in-base trading post as well. Both players opening up with the trading post in base. Before I've said that in the British Mirror that if both players are going for the trading post in Florida, it does signal Virginia Company, but the game I last spectated, actually both players chose to not go for Virginia Company and more of a standard play, just using that trade post just to send their shipments in H2 that little bit faster. Well, this what is it? Mouse is a little bit sensitive today. Maybe I've got Mitoe's high scroll speed. Yeah, that scroll bug. Guys, I'm just tripping over my words all the time today. Maybe it's a little bit out of practice. Maybe because I'm tired. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We'll find out what's going on. Kai's saying there's German semi-FF camps in America. YouTube search, 3 settler wagons into 700 wood, 700 coin. For the German semi-FF footage, get guns, get the word out. We win if we spread the word. This is not a game or a joke. The German semi-FF agenda is strong in the chat, it seems. A strategy I like to use as well. Pretty simple, but highly effective. Gets yourself into the Fortress Age and in a strong position to send those very strong Fortress Age shipments of the 9 Ulan, 8 Ulan, 8 skirmishers, 7 skirmishers with the Ulan bonus as well. Virginia Company is coming in from Mitoe. And looking at Minimoult's position, holding on to that shipment. We have a build deviation in the British Mirror. Finally. The amount of times I see British Mirrors and the builds are exactly the same. Maybe a little bit of maybe a bit of the British theory here has progressed since the last time I casted. So exciting to see how these two deviations will differ. So essentially, Minimoult's going to save that shipment for an earlier 700 wood, 5 il, 600 wood, and then probably get an earlier musketeer upgrade, while Mitoe, with the Virginia Company play behind this, spamming out houses, getting the villagers out now, will be 1 card behind in the shipment progression, but the experience points in the manor houses should catch him back up. And if Minimoult doesn't do the damage he needs to do, Mitoe will grow into the game as the game goes on. Forward villager here from Mitoe. Map control in the British Mirror is so crucial. And we see a forward racks coming down from Minimoult next to where Mitoe wants to build. Next to him is going to be the forward barracks. He's actually going to build the barracks down as well. Once you build the foundation, it's pretty hard to delete it and move it around. You lose resources. So we have got a double barracks, double outpost, forward base here from both players. Explorers are trying to siege each other's barracks. Oh, hold on to your seats, guys. This is a classic British mirror right here. Double outpost, double barracks. Behind this, Mitoe sends in 6 Musketeers. It's card number 3 in the game. He went 3-0 Virginia Company. Now 6 Musketeers. I think both players maybe going on aggressive here. Minimoult, 700 wood, card 1. Those Musketeers could be on the floor right now, sieging that outpost. They could be. But the 700 wood, I don't disagree. But the early spice trade here from Minimoult. Interesting play. I think it was his game versus Azank. He went for an early spice trade build. And that was a very crazy game. But early 6 Musk, if timed with Musketeers trained from the racks, could be enough to actually win this position. And that is, it's such a crucial thing in this game, is to win that middle map. And Minimoult will see this thinking, oh, hang on a minute, I need to do something here to win this fight. And actually, Mitoe, he's calling Minutemen from his town centre. He wants to take this position. 300 resources worth of units just moving across the map. Musketeers winning the early engagement. 6 Musketeers versus 5 from the barracks. And here comes a batch of Musketeers from the his own barracks. He just trains. Minimoult on the back foot. Did he actually send in the spice trade? That spice trade did come in. He's now sending 6 Musketeers, but realistically, Minimoult, he needs to drop some buildings in base. He will be losing his forward position at this moment. And actually trying to prod onto these Musketeers. It's a nice attempt, but just got a shot onto his own Musketeers and nearly lost 2 there for no return. Minimoult's trying another 5. They're coming out, but here the Minutemen. And they think they get a couple shots on. They're going to trade so well. Mitoe's overpowering this middle position. 6 Musketeers are coming in behind this. I don't like this prodding in from Minimoult. I do as well. I do and don't. It's just so awkward when the units have the same range. Musketeers just turn around. 6 longbow have been sent in from Mitoe. Mitoe's going double shipments in this age. And just trying to keep that tempo on his own side. I think Minimoult this time he's build back in base. He's building in base. Barracks, 2 barracks is quite far away from the town centre though. Try and protect the hunt, I suppose. Does have double hunt behind his base and they are all scouted out. Checking that it is scouted out from Mini's position. Yeah, he does see defensive hunt. He's just going to pull back. This moment though, Mini doesn't have the 6 longbows, but I would like to still see him send a Musketeer attack as his next card and try and get some sort of military edge versus these Musketeers. If Mitoe sends an early military attack, then he's going to skip all his wood shipments, which is, again, not ideal from him. Mitoe's on 27 villagers. Minimoult's on 28 with spice trades, so there is some advantages here. A little bit of a settler pull here from Minimoult. No great coats here on the action so far, but here come full HP Minutemen into the fight. If these Musketeers get into hand combat, this could be deadly here for Mitoe. Slowing the army down, but these militiamen, basically veteran Musketeers worth of damage. They're so strong. I'm getting some good trades versus these units, and given Mini's eco in position behind this, I think it's going to be alright here for Mini. There was a lot of idle villagers there, so I suppose his reinforcements for the time being won't be that great. Currently eating sheeps now to try and get a little bit of food behind this. Training a batch of 4 Musketeers, but that won't be enough versus the army that Mitoe's got. We got a bloody fight so far already here from these 2 players. But behind this, Mitoe with the Virginia Company's 70 mana population, boom, still waiting for that 700 wood shipment to hit the floor. And then from there, that eco can take off. But picking off that forward outpost, that forward racks, and some of those trades Mitoe got there really well. Some good unit control behind this. Mini spice trade. I think the spice trade just came in 1 card too early there. Would have got more impact from the 5 vills. Only now, spice trade is actually equivalent to 4 vills. When it gets to 25, it will be 5 vills worth of food eco, which is not quite hitting just yet. And that's where the spice trade will be the equivalent of the 5 villager shipments. Mitoe comes in again with more Musketeers pushing forward. Neither player daring to send any upgrades just yet. 700 wood coming from Mitoe. If Mitoe can trade here and trade with each army and go for a double down, that 700 wood will give him such a massive eco advantage back at home. That could be really, really beneficial to him. Probably about an 8 villager shipment in terms of the amount of manor houses he can build from that 700 wood due to the Virginia Company. Minimoult, got a shipment to go. Does he go coin? Okay, he's going musketeer attack here. But I want him to keep these musks back and try and time it with this next batch of musketeers. You can see he's going for the prods. The longbows here, they just stand and fire the units. These musketeers in range of longbows continuously. These musketeers trying to siege the racks or not. The batch is about to come out. This is going to be the fight here for Minimoult. He's going to go in. Going to push those musketeers in. Oh, that upgrade card not in just yet. That's a bit of a bummer. He would really want that upgrade card in right now to take this fight. But I think Mitoe's just got enough military here. Let's look. 17 musketeers here from Minimoult. Reinforcements coming from Mitoe. 21 musketeers in local presence, as well as a couple of longbows. I think this is a good trade here for Mitoe. Mini knows it as well. He's trying to take some advantages and pot shots on a couple of out-positioned muskets, but he's pulling back, he's retreating. He realises with no 6 longbow shipment, he just doesn't have another shipment to kind of stabilise and remass. And now Mitoe sending his upgrade cards behind this. They'll be following up Mini's stronger units, but will have more mass behind it. Looking tough here for Minimoult. Another big batch of musketeers, this time on the southern side of the barracks. No hand combat available for either player, but still in range of longbows, and that's what happens when you engage in units with long range. You take losses on the retreat as well, so you're punished if you stay and fight, and you're punished if you retreat. The barracks has gone down. Minimoult knows he can't keep up with Mitoe's mass. The upgrade cards would come in behind this, and he's offered his resignation to Mitoe. So a couple of quick games so far this series. Mitoe 2-1 versus Mini. Right, let's have a quick look at the graph to see anything interesting here. Let's look at the all resources counts. There's going to be a bit of a mixture between crates, eco gathered from sheeps, and it is pretty close, neck and neck throughout. Minimoult having just that little bit of extra economy in terms of resources than Mitoe, but remember, Mitoe was shipping units, whereas Minimoult shipped us only crates. Bit of idle time behind this, and Mitoe managed to catch up. 700 wood coming out at the end to take that all resources count behind that. You can probably best see that in the wood gathered. The difference between when those 2 shipments hit the floor. Mitoe was chopping a little bit though during Second Age to try and make some use of that Virginia Company. But in terms of military population, it was the first fight, and then after that fight it was just better trades. There's 2 units going down there for Minimoult, another 3 units going down there for Minimoult with no losses here for Mitoe. Mitoe's army is just growing at this moment. Mini does come in for a little bit of a prod, couple of units going down, forces another big batch of musketeers out and having to fight, but you know, with more infantry from Mitoe just taking such better trades. And Minimoult was trying to put everything he had into fighting instead of trying to go for like a villager boom on the side, and just couldn't keep up from Mitoe. And early spice trade from Minimoult, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it, guys. Who knows, maybe the old standard British build order for the Brit Mirror is still the best one. Right, guys, we're here on to game number 4. We're on Nepal this game, or Nepal. I said the exact same thing last time I casted the game. I'm like, yeah, well, Nepal, mate, Nepal. I'm like, oh, wait, that sounds a bit awkward. How about Nepal? Yeah, Nepal. And Nepal, one of the maps used to be present on the ESOC patch in the base game. Brought back to life by Vividly Playing. It was his map to start off with, and he's kindly brought that map across from the base game into Definitive Edition. And this map plays very similar to Himalayas, but it's just a better map from Himalayas. And yeah. Okay, in the map, we've got quite a lot of these vertical cliffs you can wall around, provide some sort of defensive location. Decent amount of hunts, double mines in base as well. Mid-map trading route, only 2 trading posts present, so dissuades that advanced trading post meta which we saw about a couple years back, and I suppose into this game it still exists. But we've only 2 trading posts, 2 mines in base, a lot of mines around on the map. It's German mirror time, and we have Mitoe playing as the Germans. He's going for an H1 trading post here. Did he get himself a wood treasure? I don't know. There's just too many spamming villager. He's still making villagers. I'd like to see. I'd like to tell you if he went for the wood treasure. I can't tell. He's gone 45. No, that's Minimoult. Oh, I assume he has. Okay, 40 wood. He got some sort of wood somewhere. Mitoe's got some wood, but he's getting 80 wood now. So 120 wood in terms of treasures so far is actually quite nice to see. But it looks like he's already chopped that house in H1. Chose to not gather up the coin. So I think Mitoe, from the start of the game, had the intentions of going for the H1 trading post here as Germany. Will he age up with 18 villagers instead of the standard German 17 village up? He might have to in the end, to be honest. It's this play does slow him down quite a bit, and it's not like with the market investment with the hunting dogs, you can get a little bit of food back from the faster gathering. Mitoe spent just a lot of his resources to, well, to get faster shipments. This 2 settler wagons will come in much faster than Minimoults. Yeah, Minimoults will come in about 15 seconds behind, maybe 20, and that could be the total of about 80 wood difference. It is 2 settler wagons, about 4 villager shipments, and difference between 15 and 20 seconds. It's a lot of resources for the German early eco, so this extra early shipment from Mitoe will help his H1, but I still think the tempo from the age up will be a little bit slow. 17 villas are queued. Currently at about 400 food with 1 villager still to queue up. He's got a lot of wood and coin treasures, but he's really desperate to find some food just to get that age up in behind. Minimoult saying the center of his screen is just off center. I don't know how that happens or how you can refix that. Mitoe seems confused by that. Maybe it's a bit of psyching out techniques from both players. Remember, both players starting with the in-base Duba, the pet monkey, to help get treasures. 18 hand attack with treasure guardians, so certainly a lot of his treasures are available to be grabbed. 75 wood on the north side, and Minimoult, he must have seen this in-base 40 wood for himself. Oh, he sees the snow leopard, but doesn't actually check to see if there's treasures behind. And that 40 wood would certainly help the early hunting dogs play that Minimoult went for. Right, Minimoult's up standard time. Mitoe a little bit behind. Maybe 10 seconds tops. Not too much difference between the two. But you feel that Mitoe having that trading post ready to go is going to go for quite well. And I think Mitoe, I don't think he really thinks he can get that next trading post. But he's got the resources to buy wood if he does. So if he got to that trading post and got there first, I think he would have bought the wood for the trading post. But he's going to save it for steel traps behind it, looks like. Or he's going to hunting dogs first. Could have really actually killed the explorer there. He got dupe with the pet monkey as well as his own explorer. Possibly missing a trick there. He knew if he had the 80 coin in base. But if he could kill that explorer, that trading post would likely be built in time though. Who knows? Could have killed the explorer now, got the 45 XP, and then moved on. But it's okay. Minimoult though, going forward with a tower, looking to play a tower rush game versus Mitoe. He does have 8 crossbows as well as 3 doppels in deck, so it could be a 3 doppel Sudden opening. And I think versus Germany, not a bad shout. The 3 doppels can put a lot of work onto the trading post. I think 8 crossbows is a little bit risky unless you're going for your barracks with some pike offense as well. Plenty of options here. Let's look into Mitoe's base and see what he may be up to. Here comes the 400 wood. Villagers on coin, suggesting maybe a cavalry play here from Mitoe. That's a lot of coin to be mining at this stage. In Mitoe's section, he's gone for steel traps. No building being thrown down just yet. Let's look at these settler wagons. What they're going to build. Stable coming down right here. So it looks like it's going to be stable. 2 houses from that wood with enough wood being chopped for the steel traps in transition. Moving around. Doesn't scout anything from the middle of the map. Doesn't notice that there's any aggression here. Looking at the hunt. None of the hunt's been... Oh, we got the flare bug! Hey! I don't think it's a flare... I think this time I actually turn the hotkey, but that's just the default hotkey there. Anyway, outposts have come down. The wood being chopped from Minimoult to hide the settler wagon presence. Mitoe's got no clue what he's going on at the moment. He's working on a 30% HP increase for his Explorer, but that's... Well, that's only 120 HP. It's a nice amount, but it's not game-changing, I don't think. So he should get to 170. There you go. It only affects the base stats, not the H2 stats. Pikeman coming out early here from Minimoult. Mitoe will see this and thinking, well, you got Pikeman. You can only get a pikeman from barracks. You must have a barracks. But from the angle they came in, might not realise there's a tower. Like, here comes the cavalry, going to push forward. Going to push past the pike. But they've now seen the outpost. And Minimoult knows what Mitoe's up to. He's seen the Hussar Uhlans using it like cow semi. Mitoe knows what's up. He's thinking, I better stop this cow semi and do something in H2. And I see some doppelsonners in queue for Mitoe. Minimoult, one crossbow in queue here. He's getting place to mines as well. Maybe looking to go into doppelsonners himself. Pikeman, nice catch on the Uhlans there. That's going to be a nice pickup there. One Uhlan died in the air. What's going on there, buddy? It's magic. Alright, in base, nice Uhlan raid, but I think most of those villagers should get built up into the town centre nice and safe. Uhlans from Minimoult picking up the Explorer from Mitoe with that extra HP. But the raid in here, idly in that town centre, is actually going to be quite nice for Mitoe. At the moment, the game is really even. Minimoult double pike batch here. Oh, this could go bad for him. You got to remember, Mitoe, 5 doppelsonners will cut down the pikemen in hand-to-hand combat. Not even close. I think the pikemen will go in, and once they see the doppels, he's going to back off and probably send 700 the crossbow shipment. Oh, he knows he can't take this, and he's off. He's running away. He's sending the coins about to come in from. I'm looking at the wrong player. Yeah, both players sending coin at the moment. Maybe it's just trying to feign each other's aggression and age up behind, but the situation is looking a little bit scary there for Minimoult for a second. But Mitoe, he doesn't know what kind of crossbow mass is coming from Mini behind this if he's training crossbows or sending, so he's going to wait for another batch of doppels before going in. But Dop Uhlan, colonial play from Mitoe. Loving his colonial play so far in this series, and he's going to do it once again for this game. Big batch of 5 doppels about to pop out. We'll try and get a second Uhlan here from that batch, and he will, but he does need to ensure enough food behind to get that settlers in production afterwards. Minimoult, oh, he himself is going to double batch of doppels. He's got the housing down, 2 houses. The coin behind this, oh, he's going to use a coin from the 700 crate to get this big batch of doppels out. And Mitoe's thinking, I got a time in here to do it. And actually a doppel pop onto the Uhlans here. There's double doppels here. This could be nasty. Okay, first swing going for Mitoe. And actually, look how clumps the doppels are. This is... The camera angle is a bit funky because of how the elevation is, but I think this could be a good engagement here. Well, it feels like it should have been a good engagement here for Minimoult, but just enough stuff here from Mitoe, and Hussar's cutting from behind. Wow, those 10 dops picked off there. And Mitoe only losing 5 for himself, but the secondary batch of doppels should be able to help here and cut down the Uhlans. Minutemen were called, but they should lose their HP quite fast. But Mitoe is basically able to train more doppels behind this and should stay ahead on the doppel count for the rest of the game. I was actually surprised how that fight didn't go any much closer in Minimoult's favour. Militiamen, nice addition to the army there. Mitoe training the crossbows. Mini's trying to double down on the doppels, sending 3, going to train some more. So he's going to train a full batch of 5 here from this barracks. He has adjusted that. Minutemen crossing the map. Cutting down the Minutemen, they're taking the damage, but the Uhlans trying to chase. These Uhlans will get cut down very quickly, but he's trying to pick off the doppels first. Once the doppels go down, then he knows he can take down the Uhlans army behind this. But the crossbows here from Mitoe, just perfect. He's going to focus on the doppels one by one. And Mitoe's going back in. He realizes this is his time to shine. Maybe take down the barracks, maybe try and force Mini away. And neither player trying to age up to the next stage. I don't think any player can age up to the next stage. Those 1 HP Minutemen as well going to be put some nice work in from the back lines. Doppels, I think they're going to try and get as much Z move damage as they can. And I guess he's going to try and time for another doppel pop here. But it's just giving time for Mitoe to react. Sending three set of wagons. Was his first card? Was his first card 700 wood? It might be. I want to say that Minimoult sent his 3 set of wagons. Yeah, 8 set of wagons. Actually, this game is got really tasty really quickly. So Minimoult with that extra eco for the time being. Mitoe now having to give up a little bit of that tempo to send those 3 set of wagons, but will probably be just a little bit ahead. The scores are even. Another fight's going to take down, but there's a lot of double sonders here from Minimoult. In total, I'm trying to double click, but I can't double click because they're not my units, they're Mitoe's units. Stop moving. I'm trying to double click. Okay, he's got 11 dops. God, I wish I had my select all hotkey working, but they all got resets for the time being. Trying to siege that barracks. He knows that if he can get this barracks down, then there won't be any more units popping behind. Neither player training any units for the time being. Big fight going down. I'm going to try and go around the other side of the trees. Pardon me. The doppelstones are being picked off there by Mitoe. Minimoult getting a great engagement on the Uhlans and the crossbows. The crossbows, they have to retreat at this moment. But yeah, a little bit of walking around the trees from both players. But I think Minimoult got the better trades and swings at that point. And the engagement is on. The chase is running. Those crossbows are trying to be drag box the pull trick. The pull trick alert, guys. The pull trick on the crossbows. The crossbows are getting out of there. Maybe sacrificing one crossbow to try and slow down the entire army. Actually, hasn't gone too badly there for Mitoe. I might actually try and cast a few more games in this weird angle. Everything looks so new because I'm not used to these angles of the buildings. But yeah, the Uhlans getting away. I don't think Minnie wants to get too close to the town, but he needs to remember that the Minutemen have been called already, and at the moment, there's nothing really stopping Minnie from going underneath and idling the entire eco and killing all these villagers if they're not into the town centre. He's trying to go around. He's going to try and pivot and age off behind this. And Mitoe, yeah, he's just going full defense. He knows he can't age up. And Minimoult's just going to back off. He won the fight. He hasn't won the war just yet, but he's thinking about it. Yeah, I feel like going in there would have worked really well because all the Minutemen have already been picked off and all the crossbow shipments gone. I don't think Mitoe has sent a DOPS shipment. Yeah, he's sending the DOPS shipment now, but I think you can be quite safe that you can get underneath the base, not suffer too many losses. But now that you are aging behind this, pushing under the base here seems a little risky. Barracks going down, but you've got to get a lovely raid here on these villagers. These villagers, they do have their great coats, but there's enough Minutemen and crossbows here to pick these off in basically one shot. And 4 vills likely to go down here. That's a nice pickup. And I think Minimoult should be happy with what he's achieved so far with that raid. Right, Mitoe's got to do something. He has got to do something. The opponent's into the next stage. Still has that trading post as well. And this trading post now is going to really help Minimoult get that tempo in the next stage. Send in shipments. First shipment on the way is going to be the war wagons. Oh no! Oh no! Both players passing by. Oh, it's a murder! It's a massacre! Doppels on the low HP Uhlans. Crossbows here, and Minutemen going to do a drive-by shooting as they run past. And that was 5 Uhlans going down there for free. Get those plus 15 XP donator emotes in the chat going. That was a brutal pass. And out of all the places to run past, right in between the Bhakti Temple and the cliff was not the place you'd want to do that. Doppel was trying to be trained there from the racks, but Minimoult has cancelled it into a war wagon production in base. The 3 war wagons have come out from the shipments. Uhlans are closely behind. I don't know. That's just his 3 Uhlans. He hasn't got any more Uhlans behind this. And actually, the war wagons are strong, but yeah, versus the Doppel crossbows, not enough damage here from the war wagons to deal with the army. He needs to wait for another shipment and another batch of war wagons to be trained, and then Minimoult will be in a great position. But at the moment, try and chase those Uhlans away with his own Uhlans. He might lose that, but manages to get back in time. And now Mitoe realizes, okay, I can't push in for the time being. He's going to back off, and he's likely to... I was about to say he's likely to age, but I know if you age behind us, you're behind tempo and likely to die. But I think staying in age 2, you're also likely to die at this point. I think Mitoe's likely to die at this point. But we have seen crazier comebacks in Age of Empires history, so this could be another one of those world famous games. Big batch of crossbows in base. Just going to mass crossbow Doppelsonder and hoping for a magical, Z move and a bit of army miss macro from Minimoult. But with 16 range veteran war wagons, these units are the perfect units to deal with Dop crossbow. Raid's going to come in. We'll pick off 1 or 2 Vills. Not a game-changing raid though. Ulan's top side. Will the war wagons move to cut them off? 6-speed war wagons. The Ulans are faster movement as well. Decides to, will he go for another villager? I don't think he does. Going to back off there, but there's so many crossbows and doppels in the base. A couple of settler wagons just running to the edge of the map in the hopes of getting out alive. Does Mitoe see this? He doesn't, but he does now. And he notices the coin's been gathered. Those 2 settler wagons, they're going down. Where's Mini going? Is he going to chase those Ulans? He's going to try and cut them off. Oh, he's just so slow and awkward with his dops. And especially, he's got so much damage in this little bundle here. Could try and split them off and cut off all the escapes. But he's going to push out now. Transition to a bit of a skirmisher mass. 2 more Ulans running past. Will Mini see? He's just really focusing on this micro here to try and pick off as many Ulans as possible. Probably about a 3-shot kill. He has a double kill. Ulan's top side going to get the snare off. This could be a nice pickup there for Minimoult. And remember, all these kills it's just more experience points for the German player to send more shipments behind that. So all those Ulans going down. Ulan's getting enough nice little raid there. The coin is out, but plenty of coin mines for Minimoult to move on to. And actually now having how many war wagons has he got behind this? Too many. 12 war wagons. That's too strong. That's too strong for a colonial army to deal with. Mitoe's training mass pikes, but even the war wagons, they resist melee 20%. You've got to be careful though. Dop's getting a little bit close there. He's just going to sacrifice the Ulans, but pull back the war wagons. Let the war wagons fire from damage. Pike and Ulan pop onto this basic infantry, but there's a couple of doppels here from Minimoult. He's got the right unit at the right place. Okay, war wagons focus on the settler wagons. He needs to bring this into the fight. He's got to deal with the units, not the villagers. This has actually gone as well as Mitoe could have hoped for. And I think he's basically beat back this aggression, because now it's just crossbows versus war wagons. Mitoe, Minimoult's probably sending a big shipment behind us. This could be the GG Ulan shipments, or the 9 Ulans, but he's actually going to go with 7 skirmishers now instead of the in the Ulans. I think he's trying to go for that skirm Ulan, not skirm Ulan, war wagon skirmisher, the pseudo skirm goon composition. But just looking at what Mitoe's got, 9 Ulans here, upgrade to veteran as well. Oh, that would be a bit juicy. That would be a bit too much there for Mitoe to deal with. But the crossbow mass is pretty strong in numbers. Total math there, 23 crossbows, but having the same range as the war wagons, it makes trading a bit hard there for Mitoe. Mini can just run around, fire from range, and retreat behind. The pike can engage the skirmishers, and actually that's keeping these units together. And okay, Mini's gonna have to now abandon the skirmishers and get these war wagons out. He's drag boxing the skirmishers, that's slowing everything down. But the GG has been called, and yeah, I think Mitoe just looks at the score and then realises he's that far behind, not ever be able to go to the next stage. But yeah, crazy game. German Mirrors, my favourite matchup. So much action and so much wreckage with Doppelsonders from both players. I think Minimoult got the... Mitoe won this dot pop, but Minimoult won this engagement here and picked off many Ulans here as well. So lots of... just lots of military control. Ah, man, that's a crazy game. Military population. Yeah, that double Doppelsonder pop from Minimoult looked to be like a really great pop on top of the units, but because there's just enough stuff there from Mitoe, a couple of range units dealing damage, a couple of Ulans as well striking down, and if 3 Ulans strike a Doppelsonder who's not being targeted down, or that there's Ulans not being attacked by Doppels, then that Doppel dies sooner, and that's obvious, but then that's less damage on the rest of the Doppelsonder mass, and then that just kind of scales. And Mitoe won that first engagement quite hard, but then afterwards this pop of when Mitoe sent the 9 crossbows, I think was around about here, 9 crossbows, but some of the Doppels got stopped by the trees, and then the Doppels on the crossbow mass as well. And yeah, Mini felt safe to age. I think I think the game was won up to this point, but to win a game, you've got to see the game out. And Minimoult did his best to see it out, got a lot of nice kills. And yeah, before that final engagement, traded really well. Got a lot of free kills here and there with the Ulans and the War Wagons. That final fight was a little messy, but enough XP there to give him his reinforcements to then definitely see the game out there. Pardon me, I feel like I got the hiccups there for a second. Yeah, Mitoe delaying that 3 set of wagon shipments. A couple of raids in and a bit of idle time on the town centre. Allowed him to have a stronger economy for the majority of the game, but the economy doesn't matter if your army is smaller and less teched. Right, let's move on to the next game. I feel that I've got to do a score, haven't I? Yes. The score right now is 2-all. Minimoult picking up that second game. Right. Oh my Jesus Christ, guys. We got a Dutch mirror on the Fertile Crescent. This is like my birthday come early, which is my birthday is on the 16th of May, a couple of days time. So I will be enjoying my birthday there. Probably enjoying a bit of Age of Empires content on the side, but I'll be too busy enjoying it to be casting it myself. Early 50 coin treasure there for Mitoe. That's very, very nice. He's got this 20 XP, 20 coin treasure in base. This is a really strong in-base treasure. I think a lot of people overlook this, but for the Dutch, it's early in the game for that XP will help your shipment come in faster. It's 20 coin, to reduce the amount of coin you have to mine. Minimoult going for the best treasure for Dutch, the 4 macaques and the coin. All this XP, the twins. Yeah, it's about 36 XP there, is it? 32 XP and 65 coin. But Mitoe go for the steel. He's got so much coin here. I think he's on the board of the 15 vil age up here. But that does reduce the amount of coin he does need to mine. And I think his age up will be very smooth behind this. Mini will be a bit gutted by that. And I don't blame him. The treasure was on his side of the map. But sometimes with these treasures, if they're that important, don't need to try not to micro them too much and just get in there, take the damage, but secure the treasure for yourself. And that is a huge, huge treasure in the Dutch mirror. So Minimoult, he's 5 villagers on the coin mine trying to get that coin behind this, but he's found a 50 coin treasure. Luckily, he pulls off those villagers before they actually gather all the coin mine. And I think what we've seen here from both players is you want to have as a small amount of villagers on that coin mine as possible by trying to find as many coin treasures out on the map so that you can prioritize the amount of food you can gather and just you can gather the coin if you need the coin to get that villager in production. So both players going for the 15 vil age up here, but a lot of treasures here could have spurred on an earlier age up from either player. There's an 80 coin treasure down here as well. Just a lot of action. 100 food down to the south. That'd be a lovely treasure in transition. Whoever finds that to help that bank get up faster. But both these players, it's going to be a bit of a bank race. I'm expecting a 3-minute 45 bank from Mitoe and a 3:52 from Mini. That's my guess. I might be way off because I'm used to trying to get like 3-minute 20, 25s on the 14 vil. But it's 80 coin. It's just a huge treasure. But for Mitoe at the moment, he won't be able to use that this early. I just turn over to the chat and I see a very tasty message from Kaiser there. God, you guys having a fun time with some interesting comments. Probably won't read that one out. That's not to say that I don't agree. Tee-hee, tee-hee. Right, let's look at Mitoe's line of sight. Doesn't scout that 100 food down to the south, but he does see 40 wood north, tiger, 50 food. Meanwhile, Minimoult, his explorer is on the east side of the map, his envoy's to the left. Commander? Now, I get it at this point, I really do, but I would prefer having people's explorers and envoys working in tandem so that, let's say Mini's scouting this pattern here, that envoy should be over here scouting this way so that you kind of cover the similar ground and that, Minimoult can react to anything he sees. if the envoy from Mini scouts his 100 food treasure, well, that's absolutely useless to Minimoult because he's crossed the entire map for 40 wood. So, yeah, a little bit of things. Anyway, 320. Let's look at the resources from Mitoe. Actually, his bank progression here looking to be pretty good, if all said and done. He's also got the villager in queue on the age up as well, so that's the extra coin he's found. Really helps. Okay, got enough wood behind us now. Doesn't actually need to transition onto the mine to get the coin for the first villager, because he's already got it in checked. That food is being gathered behind this, and I guess the 3-minute 45 bank. Actually, Mitoe's going to make me look silly and go for the 3-minute 43 there. A little bit slow on my own judgments. My apologies, Mitoe. I have severely underestimated you once again. Minimoult, probably a little bit slower. Just get throwing it down. And yeah, I think that was a 350 instead of a 355. Yeah. You just got to get used to these timings. And the important thing for both players, yeah, that bank has come down before both players ages up. So you get the shipment. But he's even got 100 coin, more than 100 ready to go. So yeah, that's a good early game macro there for Minimoult to recover from losing that 65 coin. But nothing these two players can't get over with. M210 saying, serious question, why do neither of them go for an early market? Well, the early market, extra 100 wood, and chances are you'd then spend that resources to go for hunting dogs. And it does slow you down a little bit. With the market, you can buy wood in transition to recover to a decent position, but it kind of trades with the standard opening here. I think the market build probably has advantages if you're going for early hussars due to the amount of extra food you gain from that hussar production. Sven, I could chat to you for hours about this. I really could. But what you need to know is if you have coin treasures and you can minimize the amount of coin you can gather, go for the 14 village up, because you could have your second bank built by 4 minutes 20. And Mitoe's building his 30 seconds later due to that shipment age up coming in later. You could be sending your bank wagon by now. He's not sending his bank wagon by now because that bank's not completed. Just all this extra tempo you get from the earlier age up really helps Dutch here. And I genuinely think players should be utilising that age up more if they, find coin treasures in the first stage, which, both players did. And, that first game on Mexico where Mitoe had the in-base 20 coin and 55 coin as well, but decided to go for the age 1 training post and age up with 16 villagers instead. Classic ESOC toxic chat at it again. Kaiser's still spamming the German semi-FF camps in America. I'm surprised you guys are not bored of the German semi-FF jokes by now. Like, it's just the same stuff over and over again. Back comes in from Mitoe. What I would say though, has Mitoe gone for the 5 bank? Yeah, he's gone for the 5 bank, buying wood from the markets. So chopping a little bit extra wood to get the hunting dogs, to get that 50 wood. Buying one batch of wood as well to get the house. So he's basically he spent 700 wood for the 2 banks. And yeah, had to buy an extra batch of wood for the house to get there to continue training. But yeah, Mitoe's basically going... Well, see, Mitoe didn't even need to buy the wood because he got that 5 population treasure. So you could say an extra 100 wood there just not being used at all at this point. I suppose that would be over. That might be a little bit harsh. Minimoult going for the standard Dutch opening of 4 banking to stable, but does have the market here. So it does need to buy a house to get the population space to get the full batch of 5 hussars. At the moment, he's at 23. He realizes this. He's like, oh, I'm going to buy a house. And he's delayed the start of this hussar batch so you can get the full hussar batch. But actually, this is actually quite delayed. Like, this hussar batch will complete by like 7:10, 7:15. Mitoe will be aging up then. He'll be clicking up by then at that point. So, yeah. Oh, bank wagon. Did Mini go 700, 600? Yeah, he went 700 wood, 600 wood instead of 700 bank wagon. And that's why he's delayed his hussars, because he wanted to get build that extra bank first, costing a lot of food. I'm not like 100% on both players' builds here. I'd say that Mitoe's got the advantage at this point. I think if you're going stable, I don't think you go 700 wood, 600 wood, and you certainly don't get hussars out in the field this late in the game. I could be up by now into the Fortress Age. I could be hitting the Fortress Age now, starting my production of Reuters and sending 9 Reuters at this point in the game. Minimoult's just pushing across the map with Hussars. Minimoult going for the Advanced Church. Mitoe has a church in his base as well. Has he gone for Advanced Church? Might not. Card soon ready to send, and may send it for the early Stradiots. I don't think you go early bank coffee trades without the assistance of the 1k wood, but the extra XP probably helps. Really nice defensive wall in here for the Mitoe. Try and play really turtly. And is this the first Minimoult scouted the base? It looks like it has. And yeah, maybe Envoy being here a bit earlier to try and scout out the exact build order. But yeah, Mitoe go for the early banks there. Really greedy in that sense. But really nice defensive, tight structure. The Hussars can't get in. There's no idle time. This has been a masterclass in base building from Mitoe. It really has. And what I would say is this has set him apart from the rest. This is a fantastic start from himself. I've almost got a tear in my eye, and I feel I should say, Mitoe, you should be proud of yourself for this one. Oh, that's so sad from Minimoult. It just aging up. Slightly non-standard build. Late Huss batch. Aging later. Meanwhile, Mitoe's aging up. Train Reuters and sends in the 1,000 wood for free. And can get full value from that. Yeah, the early Reuter batch as well dissuades Minimoult from making any more Hussars. So these 4 colonial Hussars feel a little bit useless now. And even in like the fortress fights, Hussars in low numbers don't get the job done too much. Minimoult could, continue into like a Hussar Reuter combination, as Tabun usually likes going. But the 1k wood into triple barracks here from Mitoe. You can produce some triple barracks. I think he's not going to throw down a second stable. I need to, I quite often do double stable, double racks because it's just safe in that sense. But, Minimoult's not often going to be training full batches of Hussars here or sending Advanced Church and going into Stradiots. No Harquebusiers from either player as well, and I don't think he would be sending that in that matchup. Very low HP units, and Reuters are plenty on the field. Because Mitoe's going on the offensive here, but he doesn't actually need to be on the offensive. Minimoult hasn't sent his first shipment in the next stage. He's actually already sent Advanced Church. Is he actually going to go for the Advanced Church coffee trade? Let's check his units. 7.25 speed. Hasn't come in just yet, but does have enough food and could buy woods to go for bank 6 and 7, but you'd have to think he's going to save for Stradiots at this point. Coffee trade may be a bit too... way too greedy at this point. I'm a bit confused how Mini is like ahead in score at this point in the game. It feels like he's behind in tempo and in terms of resource value. I'm not sure that Advanced Church actually has any score associated with it. But here comes the first batch of skirmishes here from Mitoe. Infantry combat coming in early behind. So getting away with 1,000 wood into infantry combat. A very greedy player style. Some say you could go for 9 Reuters instead of infantry combat to cover the skirmishes and then go combat afterwards, but luckily for him, looks like Minimoult's not going too much into the cavalry, but double stable here. There's potential for a Hussar switch. Wood has come in. That's your veteran Hussars, a couple of houses behind this. No racks down as of yet from Minimoult. Is he going to pull the full Hussar play and try and catch Mitoe's triple skirmishers out in the open? Coffee trade's coming in though, and he wants bank 5 and 6 and 7, doesn't he? That should give him the coins to call Stradiots though to defend. But I'm just looking at his hunt. He's got enough hunt to live off this, but the skirmishers will come in. And I think Mini will think, "Wow, what do I do now? I'm not too sure what I can do now." Okay, here come the Reuters in. Villagers, no great ghosts just yet. That should be a one-hit kill. But not all the shots on the Reuters actually managed to land with the villagers at that moment. It's going to move around to the side. Doesn't want to sit underneath that town centre. Sees the stable on the right. Can assume the army is over here in this position as well. From Mitoe's point of view, what does he see? Doesn't see the church, sees 4 banks only. Double stable though. So he's thinking, hang on, I need to do something here. He's just sent, Mitoe's just sent infantry damage. And I suppose there's always a temptation to just continuously tech your skirmishers. Could actually go into a batch of halberdiers at this point from Mitoe, especially when you see 2 stables. This is the moment I feel that Mitoe's at his weakest, where the surprise factor from Minimoult is going to come onto him. Is that the Stradiot batch? No, it's not the Stradiot batch, just Minutemen. Where's the Stradiots? He needs Stradiots to basically to stay in the game, it feels like at the moment. But he's got the coffee trade, and with slower units, even the Reuters can't really catch up to the enemy units as they try to retreat. Shipment ready for Mitoe behind this. Scouting the double stable, I would honestly like to see 9 Reuters, and he does go for 9 Reuters. I thought he may have gone for the infantry HP there, but this is definitely the correct call from Mitoe. It's more Reuters. He's just trained Reuters now. He stopped skirmisher production because he feels like the Hussars are coming in from Minimoult. That's what we're waiting for. Minimoult calling Stradiots now. Pop a little bit slow there, but Reuters top side. More Hussars coming in. Stradiots popping now. 5 Stradiots. May even want to call envoys as well, just to tank, just to do anything to get on and let these high damage dealing units, the Stradiots, get on with their targets. So yeah, Minimoult surrounds the skirmishers, but enough Reuters here to basically pick off the Stradiots. Or is there? I don't think there is actually. I think Minimoult's crushing this. This is a decent fight here for Minimoult. He's focusing down the Reuters with his own Reuters as well, and there's enough heavy cavalry here behind from Minimoult to basically clean this up in a pseudo way. And if the skirmishers want to fight the Reuters, well, they got the problem that some of these units were going to hand attack versus the Reuters, while the Reuters can just move and just sit on the skirmishers at the moment. Minutemen's still alive here, and the Stradiot pop saving Minimoult's bacon in this game. 1 Stradiot still alive, 56 hand attack per swing. Should kill these guys in 3 hits actually. Yeah, it is a 3-hit KO on his units, even with the infantry combat on the HP buffing. And damn. No way Minimoult actually wins this game, does he? That would be insane if he does. He's really careful though. He's pushing Reuters into more reinforcing skirmishers, and these are double carded. And yeah, he's now Mitoe can send 8 skirmishers to remass because he didn't send the skirmisher card earlier. And that's probably where that strength of the early infantry card comes from, because you can send your units later on, and that shipment gets better because they are carded. The thing is, just imagine if Minimoult held back those 5 Hussars and waited for the entire engagement, or just imagine if Minimoult sold a little bit more food and got that Stradiot pop in a little bit earlier. If those Hussars and the Stradiots just combined at the same time as a little bit more of an A's pop kind of cohesiveness, that would be even more decisive. And at the moment, looking at the scores, the game feels somewhat in an even position. This is the time Minimoult really should be thinking about sending infantry combat just to try and keep up somehow in the skirmisher war. He does send infantry combat behind this. Mitoe, double batch of Reuters. Here comes the halberdier switch. Just the 2 cards on the infantry behind this. 38 villagers to him compared to Minimoult's 28. Okay, Mitoe's up 10 villas. That's quite a lot. And looking at the bank count, looks like we do have... Did Minimoult lose a front bank? Okay, no, it's 5, 6, 7... Stupid not having my that's all hockey. 7 banks. So yeah, eco's relatively the same actually. Minimoult needs all his villagers on the food though to get close, but I think just more stuff here from Mitoe. The skirmishers are strong for himself. The reinforcing batch of halbs are actually nice to push back the Reuters, and you can see how Mitoe's just getting top of the skirmishers. He realised these are the damage dealers. If you can just reduce the skirmisher count, then the Reuters don't do too much in the background, and that's been a decent fight. Halberdiers coming in, high siege, decent attack as well. They could go straight onto the Reuters or try and deal with the settlers as well. Take a long time to siege racks down. More skirmishers popping out from Minimoult, but he's actually lost his skirmisher army, and the skirmisher count from Mitoe still strong here. A surprise batch of husks could be nice, but there are halberdiers on the field. Defender's advantage though should help Minimoult in this situation. Villagers not necessarily needing to get in the fight just yet, but it won't be long until he needs to pull them in just to try and stabilise. Explorer ransom as well, quite nice. Will we see an envoy pop just to tank the damage from the skirmishers and Reuters? Actually a nice way to spend 250 food, but looks like all the Reuters have fallen over. The skirmishers have done their job, and Mitoe has won this fight. He's going to push onto the eco now. No way Minimoult can hold these villagers. Try and go for a massive Hussar switch. A lot of resources in the bank. So he had the eco to spare, but he couldn't get those units out fast enough and couldn't protect those on the field by that time. Whereas Mitoe's just continuously spending his units as they come in of resources. And another batch of Reuters skirmisher crossing the map. The GG has been called, and Mitoe takes that game in what has to be said a very interesting Dutch mirror. I do like my Dutch mirrors. I do like my Dutch gameplay in general. And the 5-bank FF. So if you want to copy this build, it's 3 vil, 700 wood, bank wagon. You get the bank in transition, bank on the 400, market on the 700, but then you use the remaining amount of that woods to build another bank, buy 100 woods to get your 3rd bank, send your next bank as bank wagon, and then you can buy the remaining woods to get your 5th bank, and they have that strong eco. And you basically, instead of investing your resources into a stable, which you might or might not train units from, you invest it into another economic production building and have a very strong eco. And how Mitoe was able to ward himself in. Really great play. Minimoult 5 Hussars, a great answer to do with very greedy play like Mitoe's gone, but the fact that those Hussars couldn't get in allowed Mitoe to get away from this with this build. And that initial tempo helped him. But Minimoult, knowing that he had a spare shipment in the Colonial Age, and actually he'd be quite happy to send a Colonial Age shipment to have the availability to train 5 Stradiots for 1,000 coin at his own whenever he needs it. And that pop of the Vet Hussars and the Stradiots came in. So he had a shipment, a Stradiot pop, and a 5 Hussar batch from the stable. Came in on top and managed to clean Mitoe's army. But the extra cards on the skirmishers. Let's move so fast. What is it with high players in there? Fast scroll speed. It's just that's better. If I go off, I'm not gonna zoom off to the edge of the earth. Yeah, the extra cards there. The reinforcing army is just so much stronger and so much more. Just had better stats and just traded so much well. Even these halberdiers just forcing off any Hussar switch at the end. So Mitoe winning that one. Mitoe up 3-2. This series is proudly presented by TakkCafe, the sponsors of this tournament. So into the semi-final one. Score currently 3-2 for Mitoe. Best of 7. Mitoe is on that match point. So the TakkCafe provides services for your maybe friends who own coffee shops, targeted at the small coffee shops, help them with analytical tools, delivery, self-service checkouts, allowing your baristas to focus more on the coffee production. A lot of very nicely thought out little tools in this well-rounded package to help your coffee shop owners function better and have a better proposition for your customers. So certainly check them out. Certainly recommend it to your mates. Going to game 6 between these 2 players of a best of 7. Game 6 on Baja, California. Minimoult spawning in the eastern map in the color red, playing as the Spanish. And Mitoe playing as the Japanese, spawning into the western map in his favourite colour, teal. Cherry orchard being thrown down. He's not gathering the coin, looks like. So he's just going to do standard stuff. 30 coin in base as well. If you have that coin treasure, it's always tempting just to use that wood to buy a market or build a market and buy the wood from the coin you have. But silly me forgetting that the consulate exists. Get that consulate down nice and early. Get the Portuguese consulate rolling. And that way you can get your first shrine at a cheaper price. The early eco from Japan is quite macro intensive. Like this is a civ. Like I feel like I'd be doing quite well playing if I got into it. But I can't face playing Japan. I feel like this is the most annoying civ to play, and long have we requested this civ to be removed from the game, but unfortunately the Japan's civ still exists. They still gather cherries in base, still can't be raided. And we have Perez saying dumb as a rock, and I don't know who's referring to as dumb as a rock. Hopefully it's not Minimoult or Mitoe. Maybe it's the semi-FF gang in the chat. Oh, he's saying Kaiser's dumb as a rock. Kaiser, you are dumb as a rock, apparently, okay? Portuguese constantly coming in. Explorers next to our hunts. Went for the constant research. Enough woods to go around for the early shrine. And will the shrine get built before the villager is queued? I think he will. He's holding back a shipment, though. That does suggest 3 fishing boats is card number 1 here from Mitoe. Let's see what he's up to. There we go. 3 fishing boats, card number 1. Riku's villagers in production. And I think he's got timed this enough, so he knows exactly how many villagers he wants to age up with. And he knows when he needs to stop producing villagers to save for the Wonder and get it down. Meanwhile, Minimoult, standard here. In base house. Does have 1 trading post. Declines to go for the middle trading post, where he might have got that very first pass of experience points. But gone for the top side. Might not have mattered. He's playing Spain, remember, and they get their shipments very, very quickly. 3 villagers already on the field. 2 minutes 20. Mitoe's just about dropped down behind. Actually, Minimoult, he could have gone for that middle trading post, and that could mean huge for him, especially as he spawns on this eastern side of the map, and the walk time from the town centre to the trading post is minimal. Let's check Minimoult's deck and see what he's up to. FF with the frigates. So I'm expecting standard play here from the Spanish play. Does have the frigate to contest water as well. 2 caravels and improved warships just in case. But I don't think we'll get to see the 2 caravels in action. It's not like Mitoe's type of player who usually sends 5 fishing boats, and he doesn't have the 5 fishing boats in deck. Does have 2 fumes though. But he went fishing boats opening, but I'm sure he'll transition to more of a pure land agenda. Has the Nagy HP card versus Spain, actually close combat, way of the bow, no Yabo-Sam techs for him in the 3rd age. Does have intervention as well. Looking to go for refrigeration here over the 7-ville double shipment. Tushogo Shrine is down here from Japan player, still chopping in transition. Hopefully he doesn't forget about the coin. I know he doesn't need it right this second, but hopefully it's not like hiding underneath the villagers and he remembers at some point. Yeah, he's gathering the coin now. Look at that. A couple of coin bars. You'd feel that this little treasure here is worth more than 100 coin. God, that must be able to buy like half the Americas with all that coin there. That's loads of coin. Need to scouting around. We have War Dog Explorer sitting on his 30%. Explorer HP, again, not crucial for the European Explorers. I know that some players really like those treasures and others choose to not. I don't really see the value of it. But then again, I need to really improve my Explorer use post age 1 and using it in combat. Quite often I just have my Explorer sat on the far side of the map just not doing anything. Let's look at Minimoult. He does have the market in transition, earlier hunting dogs. Going for the market at this point of the game is not a thing you often do as the Spanish. Maybe Minimoult has crunched the numbers and see it's going to work out. Will we actually see some variation on the 5 villager 700 coin, 700 wood, or will we see 700 coin first card as standard? Second trading post coming down, chopping a lot of wood in transition here. Again, not electing to go for the middle one, but after the second trading post is built, I think Minimoult really wants to secure the entire line for himself and not let Mitoe onto it. It's not the end of the world if he doesn't go for a stagecoach orientated build, because the XP will certainly help him a lot when he gets to that Fortress Age. And in the Fortress Age versus Japan, Lancers are your best friend. Has 5 Hussars. He's got 5 Lancers, 5 Hussars, but I just feel like, I mean, in general, like having the 5 Hussars is a great card, but actually versus a more infantry heavy civ like Japan, the 4 Lancers could actually really help. Generally, for a second, I thought that second bow from the Explorer was actually going to take down this outpost. It was actually quite close, but I think the outpost will get up with enough HP. War Dog coming in, Explorer coming in, and he secured that third train post if he does want to go for it at some point. A couple of shrines, though, a bit awkwardly placed in front of the base. I appreciate that none of the hunts have spawned behind the base, and the starting hunts have started to walk off in front of the base. There's a lot of retail area down to the south to shrine up, and on the top side on the north, just to be out far away from your opponent as possible and be the most annoying. But this has got 9 rods, 2 falcons, slow push through, just picking off the shrine. At least the Sugar Shrine is way at the back, quite safely positioned. So, it looks like Spain player here going 5 villagers first, 700 wood, card number 2 into 700 coin. I think the 700 coin here would have been the smarter, would have been the play to go for. But the 700 wood at this point should allow Minimoult to go for another trading post, stagecoach, barracks, and then maybe 5 pike to raid the shrines, or 5 musketeers to hold the trading line. Train dogs. I think you can train dogs while building a trading post at the same time. Stagecoach is in, but he's going to need to build this now. Come on, Minnie. You can do it. He's waiting to gather more wood up. So he spent that first wood on the stagecoach. Now the barracks are coming down, and now he's going to build the trading post afterwards. And I suppose at the entire list, the third trading post is probably the least important. Dog's going to wrap around this behind to try and cut off the retreat here from Mitoe. Mitoe thinking he can siege the outpost. Actually, Minimoult on the repair job on the outpost. Really good job there. Here come the 5 war dogs. 5 war dogs on a little bit more speed than the Ashi. Will Mitoe try and pull off 1 or 2 Ashis to kind of lead all the dogs away and let the other Ashis fire? Here comes another 10 Ashi Garrows here from Mitoe. Mini needs some reinforcements. That initial batch of dogs is enough to kind of secure the line, but only colonial dogs here, 123 HP and 18 hand attack. Not quite enough versus these infantry units. Train post never laid. Invest into a second barracks here. Cancelled the okay, the coins come in. Now going to Rodoleros. So this is going to be like a big batch of 10 musketeers. Here come 5. We will see a double batch of musketeers being trained. 7 rods as well is on the way. Stagecoach is in, still has his TP sets of experience points. 7 rollers, 6 rollers. Rod's actually coming on top of the Ashes at the moment. Couple of these Ashes in hand combat, but they do very minimal damage versus Rodoleros. 40% range resist as well. Ashes all in hand combat. This is some really good engagements here from Minimoult. Mitoe really needs to focus on the range damage here versus Rodoleros, especially if they're in cover mode. They're not doing too much damage. Focus the Musketeers. These are the damage dealers here from Mini's army. Bestiaire is being called from the Portuguese consulate. Fight in ensured is still in the middle of the map. Another shipment ready for Spain, ready to go, but he's gone through 7 and 6 Roleros. He's not going to send pikes, doesn't have it in his deck. I guess you save it. If you can get up, save it for some point. But sending like a card like Eco Theory won't really help. Unction not going to be used, and the HP upgrade cards just not enough units for it to really benefit. Big batch of musketeers there. Rodoleros getting into hand combat, diverting some attention here. Need some more dogs really from Minimoult. Ashigaru's just stronger units than the musketeer. More attack, more HP. The bestiaire is behind. Multipliers versus musketeers, longer range, and Minimoult has failed to get to the Fortress Age. That was his whole plan, was to get to that age with a slightly stronger eco and then kind of play from there. But having to defend this Japan push from Mitoe, he's in a world of trouble. He doesn't actually have 700 food in his deck, and that would have been a great card to have to basically get more units out. Nearly has an eco for like 3 barracks production as well. That is a possibility. But yeah, here's another big batch of musketeers. It feels like this is going to be the time he needs to, if he's got to survive in this. 2 shipment stack, no real useful shipments to send at this point. I suppose he could send caravels to kill these 3 fishing boats and then start fishing behind. So that's a 5 villager swing in total. But villagers is not the most important thing at the moment. It's trying to win this army fight. Minimoult is pushing Mitoe back, but it feels like there's been like a massive reinforcement, and yet another 10 Ashes. And Mitoe now sending Ashy attack from the home city. These guys, 24, still on the Portuguese consulate, or it's been transitioned maybe. Almost going to get into the Japanese consulate. These guys will be even stronger. And then the issue scaling here from Japan is just taking off. Minimoult knows it. Only having the slow age as well. No exiled prince. Spain not part of the semi-FF gang. Mini knows it. He has to tap out. Game number 4. Game number 6 going to Mitoe. That's his 4th win. And Mitoe's won the series and the semi-final 4-2. Congratulations to Mitoe. So Mitoe is going to move on to the finals of the TakkCafe Cup tournament, gratefully sponsored by TakkCafe. Go check them out. www.tak.cafe. Links will be in the description. If you're in the stream, type in !TAK. You'll find out a nice what they're about. Go check the links. Useful products, analytics for your coffee shop owners to help them have a better proposition to their customers. Just a really useful app. Lots of dimensions to it. Really well thought out. I'm glad that they've shown an interest into sponsoring Age of Empires 3 tournaments as well. So we say a massive thank you to TakkCafe for this tournament. But yes, Mitoe will be marching on to the finals. And he'll be taking on the winner from the next series.